Why, hello everyone, and welcome back to another LOTRO battle. Today we're going to be doing the brand new instance. We like to call it, I just call it the tombs usually, but it's Nirgambar, the Restless tomb. All right, so we are going to be doing it tier 1, so it won't be too challenging. In the future, I'll make a tier 2 video on it. I've done tier 2 on live streams, mind you, but as a video by itself, sometimes I like a concise, just one video. All right, so again, if you have fun, if you enjoy yourself in this, and you learn something, don't forget to like and subscribe, or even if you don't, maybe still like and subscribe. It's free. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and have some fun here today. You start here at the entrance. Usually I will be tanking it today, so you'll see it from a tanking perspective, but I will explain other things. I will be talking a little faster than I usually do just to keep up with what I'm doing in the moment, because it could be a little quick. So normally I would talk at about this speed when I'm making a video, but it's gonna be a little bit faster, more like this. Just today, because I won't be able to keep up otherwise. All right, here we go. All right, so basically we start with some baddies right here. All right, so this is pretty easy pull, so I'm just gonna go ahead and grab all of these guys right here. All right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna turn around so they can't hit my friends. I'm gonna put a Guardian's Pledge on to give my healers time to set up. And now everyone do lots of damage. Wah! Again, this is tier 1. You could technically, if you're all really well geared out, you could do that pull like this with tier 2 as well. But I would recommend a little bit scarier and harder to do, so be careful with that. All right, so that's pretty much everything that's in this room. And then we continue down. I have my filters on, so the music and combat sounds are not quite as loud. Ooh, I'm missing. I'm gonna turn down the music just a tiny bit more though, just so it's not too, all right, you are gonna wanna make sure you're using any kind of removals. And we'll explain the bosses here in a minute. This is pretty easy even on tier 2. These ads, they just sometimes will hit hard or have more HP. So we're gonna explain this first boss. In fact, Mr. Hammer is going to explain it, so I'm actually gonna bring it right here so you can also see it. But I will verbalize it, read it, in case it's a little small for you here on the video. All right. So again, this is the first boss room. I like this instance because it's not super long, but it's very straightforward, and you have 3 bosses. So I like it a lot. This boss has no special mechanics we need to deal with. The next one does. But this one, basically, what you need to know for everyone watching is that later on tier 2, which I'll explain if we do tier 2, he does have a very powerful roar that if he targets you, you need to be very careful not to lead him right into everybody else. Okay? All right, so there's also some things that'll fall. So it's pretty straightforward with a lot of things he does. All right. Give an interrupt there. I'm not quite sure why I am not having aggro right now. There we go. Make sure I get some more aggro on him. So he says deep breath. He's got things you want to interrupt. All right. So that roar thing, he says you, and whoever he's looking at, you do not want to be bringing it into your healers and everybody else. You want to run away, because no matter what, he's going to kind of hit you. You can actually get out of the distance from him. He drops these things on the ground that you do not want to be standing in. All right. These green puddles, they start really hurting you a lot, okay? So when he says my gift to you, you want to walk him where he... See, now he's AoEing 2 people right now, right? He almost killed our Mariner there. So realistically, everyone should be behind him, my team, but that's okay. All right. And I'm going to walk him in a circle around the room because of the dots. So when he drops the dots, I want to bring him farther away from the dots, if possible. So he's doing an AoE. Now, walking like that, you don't necessarily want to do that because he'll hit more people. In this case, it's tier 1. It doesn't really matter, but you do need to think about that because it will AoE. And again, my goal is to keep it where people don't have to stand in the puddles as a tank, but that I kite him around the room. Now, he will drop like these explosions around the room, sometimes like falling rocks. Tier 1, not a big deal. but later for tier 2 and higher, you need to think about that. So, oop. So I don't want to stand it as a tank either. But pretty much, we're going to win here. So if you notice, he just hit 3 people. 3 people got low because they were standing in a line. So that's kind of what not to do if we're doing this tier 2. But tier 1 is like, we can just ignore it. Because it's like, doesn't really do much. But if you're playing this later, you have to think about that. Anyway, there we go. I'm going to slow down on the talking speed when we're not in combat. Where I don't have to keep up with the combat. For my own voice and also for all of us. All right. So here we go. We're going to do... So this one, I'm going to go ahead and pull these guys. We'll beat these guys. Now, if it's tier 2, you can sit here and beat them up. Sometimes people will run and bring them all the way down to the other room, but make sure you interrupt these guys if you don't want to have annoyance of them going invisible for 3 seconds, because it's frustrating, but it doesn't really matter too much. You just waste your time, pretty much. And we're not here to waste our time. We're here to have fun and learn on this video today. All right, so what I'm gonna actually do is I'm gonna run down here. All right, I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna pull 2 groups there. All right, and I'm gonna use my Guardian's Heart here, just to make sure I don't take too much damage where the heals can't keep up. Usually when you do early pulls like that, there's a few things you want to think about, right? If you're the healer, you want to think about not putting on overtime heals on the tank that are on him when he goes to pull, because the moment he walks in and aggroes 10 guys, he'll hit one of them, and the other 9 will look at the healer and go, whoa, hello there. And the healer will be like, uh-oh. So that's one thing to think about as a healer. The next thing as a tank is usually you want to give your heals a chance to heal you. So you'll run in, you'll try to grab their aggro with no one else hitting, and the DPS shouldn't hit them too. Let the tank land an AoE, like a roar, like, again, challenge or something as a guardian, or another AoE for another tank. And then once he has tanked or taken the aggro, okay? Take the aggro. Once you take them, then you go ham. So, but as the tank, I like to throw on my Guardian's Pledge or my big health thing or something, just to give the healer a chance to start healing me, because they have to wait, right? They kind of have to wait until the last second. Now, these guys do have a type of AoE that you need to remember about. So you don't want to all be stacked right on top of them when you're killing them, from what I've seen. But it could just be an AoE that casts. Might not be nothing you can do about it from my knowledge of that. It's kind of like irrelevant even in tier 2. If the tank is tanky and the healer is healing, usually you don't have a problem with it. There can always be that time where something happens, but... And then the gate will open, and you can continue on. Alright, so now we're going to be talking about spikes. Alright, spikes time. This next boss is far more challenging, okay? And yes, the interrupts on those ghostly water guys is really, really important, because if you don't, you might start having some troubles. Here we go, turn the music down just a wee bit more. It's epic music, though. This boss has a floor. All right, so he's going to explain it there, but I'm also going to explain it for you guys watching. There's a floor, and there's a boss, and he's like a sand boss. And pretty much, when what happens is it'll show red in one side of the room, and then spikes will appear. And then it'll show red, and then spikes will appear. And then it'll show red, and then spikes will appear. But they'll be appearing, one will appear, and then one will drop before the next one comes up. So what you could do is if a spike is up and there's red showing the spikes are about to come up, you can go onto it, wait for the other spikes to drop, because you cannot walk onto them, they're already up, they will still hurt you. Then you walk off real fast, you got like 2 seconds or less, and then the one where it was red, the spikes will come up. And it rotates across the room occasionally from different angles, depending on where you're fighting. You're gonna see it in the fight, okay? So just keep that in mind if you're doing this fight. It's really quite simple once you get used to it, but it can be challenging when you're trying to do your rotations of tanking, healing, DPSing too. That's where it can get... It's like a whole other layer of thinking to have to worry about. Alright, so anyway, we're going to start with dealing with these guys here. There we go. Easy peasy. All right, so see these red things? You can already see it. So I'm going to walk up to here. So if you notice, we can kill these right now, but we have to watch out for the spikes. So we move over here. See the red? Did you see the red little circle-y thing? It's pretty clear. Okay, spikes are coming up here. All right, so he is inside the spikes, so he took a good chunk of damage. So now the spikes are going to be there, so we move over here. There we go. And that is how you avoid the spikies. All right, so now that those spikes should pretty much mostly stop. All right. We need everybody in because once it starts, that door is going to close. All right. We good? All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're all here. And I didn't count the Bjorning. Yes, the bear. Okay. Here we go. Someone says one more thing. Yeah, there is a tier 2. There's some mechanics he has at tier 2 that you have to worry about. So he immediately starts. I like to keep him away. You still want to watch out for things he puts on the floor. Like, you don't want to just let him take stuff, right? I have a feeling our champion is doing a taunt because there's no way he's holding aggro off me without a force taunt. He does put a bleed disrupt. You want to make sure you remove that as the tank or whoever he puts it on. At tier 2, it's much more challenging because he's a lot more health, and he does a couple other mechanics like sand blasting and like a couple things, but they're not too hard. So as you can see, there's the first group of spikes. Okay, so now the next group is coming, so I'm actually going to go over here. Ooh. All right, now they run over here. So pretty much you just need to stay away from wherever the spikes show up. Because if those things hit you, you will die very quickly. Right, so spikes are now coming from the other angle of the room. All right, so I'm going to go over here like this. I'm going to pull them over here. Oh, okay, that's, people aren't, they're doing a different rotation, I guess. That's all right. I'll use a different one. So we have an ad does pop out. I just pulled aggro on him. I think I'll... So keep an eye out for the spikes start, whatever you do. So we're doing pretty good here. I'm watching for spikes is why I keep turning around. I do not want to be surprised by spikes. Alright. So he also has something called some run speeds. When he says fear me, he puts some stuff on. We got another ad here. Alright, so here's spikes, so move this way. Alright, and then the middle spikes are going to come up. But we just killed them, so... And now, if you see these spikes are coming up, so right when they drop, you move, and then you won't get hit. Alright, so that's what you have to think about with the spike rotation combo. And it should have stopped now, so... Good job. We did it. We did it, laddies. Alright, so... yeah, so rising pressure is another mechanic that Vil is commenting about. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna bring them down with me. Somebody stunned the other ones, but that's okay. It should work out with timing here. All right, do my little AoE taunt here. Make sure I'm doing my shield bashes and my shield taunts. Yeah, guys, look at me. Look at me. You kill me, you kill me. Oh, they're dead. Well, they're dead, so. All right. So, I'm going to go ahead and just grab these groups, and then I'm going to go Force Taunt. I'm going to put a Guardian's Pledge on, just so I don't make the healer angry at me. They're doing a great job. It's tier 1. It shouldn't be an issue, but tier 2, if you're pulling that many, you want to be cautious. We crush them, though, at tier 1. They're so weak, like, in health. Tier 2, they all have, like, 4 million health instead of... And some of them have, like, 8, depending on the guys. So, easy pull. Doors opening for us to continue on. And we're coming up to the final boss room. See, not really... I knew this video... This instance isn't too bad. You can usually get it done if you have no wipes, which means everybody dies and you have to reset. You could do it in, like, under a half hour. Even at tier 2. Which is a nice. I like that. I like an instance that has a challenge, which this one definitely does mechanically. Especially the second and last boss are the ones that are really challenging. Now, as the tank, I'm going to do something a little different than everybody else would have to do. But I will explain that momentarily when we get into the next battle. There's basically... I'll start explaining it. There's a ghost that are going to go across. You'll see at the last boss. That will, if you cross multiple ghosts, if multiple people in the same spot, every person that crosses them will make an explosion that'll hurt everyone. So you have to be really, really careful of that when you go around them, and I'll kind of show you. And so some people want to go on one side and the other side, but you also don't want to go right to the edge with this guy because he does a little bit of a knockback, and you'll get knocked off the platform. You'll see in a moment. And the bridge will collapse right when everyone gets over there, so you have to get everyone across the bridge. All right, he will bounce you right off the platform. Yes, and that's what I just explained to you guys. He's explaining it real quick down there. We're going to turn the music down just slightly again. It's a little too loud for me. There we go. Better? All right, so I need to make sure I eat some food here. Be prepped. All right, when the lines of ads show up, run around them to one side. Yes, and I would like to point out with your group, don't do it all on the same side. Because again, they do a small AoE around them. So you want to run through only one of them on the end. And really what I like to do as the tank is I'll go to the opposite end that other people go usually. Or if you want to split up and have like 3 and 3. And you probably don't want to all go right at once across the ad. So the range people should try to go first. And then the melees can go, and then probably the tank last. That's what I would recommend. So like, maybe the healer runs through, then the DPS, then the melee DPS people, and then the tank. All right, you'll see as we go. All right, here we go. So this guy says some stuff. This bridge is going to collapse the moment we all start this fight. In fact, I saw someone one time. So there goes the bridge. So what I like to do is I like to tank him like this and have everybody else on the other side because the ads always come from behind me. All right. So here's the ads. So what we do is they all go around. And then I'll go around the edge like this. And I'll bring him back into the spot. I, as the tank, like to keep my back when the things come out. Because people just get distracted, right, fighting. And then it can be very bad if the ads pop out from this side and... It you know, it surprises people. So right now we're doing pretty nice. So again, I like to... All right, so here's the ads. In fact, as the tank, you might be able to just go through a single middle one. All right. So I'm going to just do that. But usually, for rule of thumb, go around the sides if you're a squishy. Or if you're taking a lot of damage, tier 2. And then I like to, again, keep my back as the tank to where they spawn on this side. They seem to always, even in tier 2, spawn on the same side. So, just keep that in mind. You may have to reposition him slightly. There are a few ads that spawn, so think about that as healers and DPS and the tank. You got to make sure that ad is not on your healer or one of your carries, for that matter. Here comes the guys. All right, so... All right, I'm going to bring him around. Bring him around town. Bring him back to his spot. Oh. All right, I like to keep him kind of right there in the middle. Everybody else has to figure it out. When the tank positions, just so you guys know, if the tank is doing it right, which I'm doing it right now, everyone else has to position correctly. So if people are like, oh, don't put him, it's like, well, you got to go back to the repositioning. So sometimes you have to be flexible as a team, and you have to be ready for the tank to have to reposition the boss a little bit, like I just did, where I had to like move back and forth. So, because I want to keep him in the middle. So last time thing of creatures, but if you kill him before it happens, doesn't even matter. They go away. So that's pretty much it. Tier 2 is basically just a lot more damage. And you have to be way more careful with the other things. So that was very well done. Very well done by my team here and by our guest. Well done, you guys. Amazing work. And hopefully you guys watching enjoyed this. It was entertaining and that you learned something too for a LOTRO battle. Again, this is a fun instance. I will make one of these quick videos for tier 2 as well later on. But pretty much it's similar. It's just think more damage. I like that this instance is pretty straightforward. There are some other mechanics to the second boss that he starts putting some build-up stuff on people to take more damage and things. And this particular boss has a couple like bleeds and stuff. But really, you always have to just watch for you have debuffs on you that you need to remove. Watch for positioning of where things are, and make sure you're thinking about when it comes to polling and stuff. Like I explained in the middle of the video. So, yes, that was fantastic. Have a great day in the middle. If you guys enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you to my Patreons for their support. Thank you to my Kinship for joining us in this video today and doing this battle. And like and subscribe, my friends. I'm at your service and your families. Baruch Hazad, Kuzad menu. I will see you in the next LOTRO battles and videos. Stay happy, my friends.